he's got this horse in like this single horse trailer. But then he's got this bull elk, like this 6-point bull elk, like strapped to the horse trailer,
So
coming
cool.
down like into the trunk of this vehicle.
Awesome.
And
Welcome to the Cuttercast, presented by Canvas Cutter, where we leave chaos for campfires and trade deadlines for dirt roads. We dive into hunting stories, outdoor adventures, and the gear that lets you live life outside. Kick back and let's get into it.
That's what I want to get.
oh my gosh. Oh, that's
That can be
hilarious.
Okay, you're not.
Oh,
this,
you
it's
got
fine.
a tail wag. He's tired. You got a tired tail wag.
Get a nap in, buddy.
You know what, T?
Uh-huh.
Welcome to the Cuttercast, everybody. It's yours truly, Seth here, and I am here with T, Mr. T, TD Cameraman. I think that's where we'll finish there. You know, we have an opportunity to go out on some pretty cool adventures,
All the time.
both hunts and trips. And because of the nature of our work, we capture most of it. And I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Me too.
But I feel like, growing up, I went on a lot of adventures with my dad and his friends and others. And I don't have a lot to show for it other than my memories.
Mm-hmm.
And often we go out there and you can go out on some pretty epic adventures, create some amazing memories, which is what Canvas Cutter really, at the core, that's what we're all about, is trying to make gear that allows you to do that in a way that gets you out more because it's so easy and simple and comfortable and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately with memories, they fade, and you might even have, practical jokes or inside jokes that come from a trip that lasts in a group of friends or families for years, maybe even decades, right? Like,
Totally.
like people get names
Yeah.
from these experiences, but if they're not captured through photography, videography, all you have is that memory. And like I mentioned seconds ago, memories can fade over time. So today, T and I are sitting down and we're going to talk about why it's important to capture your outdoor experiences and the trips that you go on, whether they're hunting trips or just fun outdoor trips with a group of friends or your family going out. And not only why you should do it, but T, as our resident, if you're new to Canvas Cutter or to the Cuttercast, T is Canvas Cutter's photographer, videographer, and is extremely talented. If you want to see his work, check out Canvas Cutter's Instagram page and social media pages. Go to TD Cameraman, your personal page. Check it out. He's got some awesome stuff, obviously, on the regular there. But T's going to be giving us some of his advice on how, not only why it's important, but how we can do it better.
Yeah.
So
Can always be better.
So that
Always.
when we look back over the years at that really fun adventure, we can almost relive it through the photos
it really
that
is
we've
a
taken.
super powerful tool to capture memories and bring a lot of that back like years and years later, which is pretty cool. Before
we get into the nitty gritty of that, though, just a couple things, house cleaning items. Canvas Cutter's Black Friday deal is going on right now. And if you want to get yourself or a loved one like some of the best gear and gifts you can get, head over there. And we've got a deal going on right now to where you buy somebody some gear and you unlock some free gifts for yourself, which is pretty awesome.
Sweet. It's
Pretty
really
sweet.
sweet.
And we're talking a really dope new blackout hat. We've got a Father Wisdom custom utility
cool.
bag, handmade utility bags, leather patch with for his signature series. Super cool, super useful utility bag. We've got a super dope blacked out hoodie.
I'm so excited
Ghosted
about the
hoodie.
So
Super
excited
cool.
about that.
So am I. and then you can unlock our blackout burrow duffel, which is pretty sweet. So a lot of value there. You're already picking up awesome gear. To unlock some free gifts is awesome as well.
Get a gift for someone else and get one for you too. Might as well.
Doesn't get better. And we've got several. The REM pillow is funded. It's coming. The Bedrock is coming, and the 3.0s are also going to be on their way soon as well. So if you want to get set up with gear for winter camping or next year, head to canvascutter.com to do so.
Lots
the
of good
holidays
stuff
are here,
on the
so take
way.
advantage. All right. Why capture your adventures? Why do you think people should make an effort when they're out on their hunt, when they're out on their outdoor trip to capture it through photos?
For me, it's I've always been a fan of the idea of journaling, but I'm really bad at execution.
Yeah.
Super bad at execution.
Yeah.
I'm just so bad at taking the time to write things down. But I do have a visual journal of my whole life because I do this for a profession. I've been doing it for like 8 years.
Yeah.
I have so many photos and videos of everything like I've done in my whole adult life, which is really cool. So in that regard, my posterity being able to see that, I think is really cool. Like, you know how cool it was when you were a kid and you saw like a picture of your grandpa on a hunting trip or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just am like obsessed with pictures of like my ancestors. Like, I made this video a few months ago. My family used to have this old house in Parowan, Utah that my great grandpa built by hand.
So
and it was in our family for 7 generations of my family were under its roof. And we had to sell it. Kind of a sad story, but I made this video about it, and in doing so I did all this research, found all these like really old pictures, and I just think it's so cool to be able to visually see like where you come from. Yeah. And being able to see all the cool things that people before you did. So that is really big for me. Then the other thing is just for myself, I'm not really a person that likes souvenirs, but I do love having photos or videos of the places that I go and the places that I see, because that's like my way of connecting to those memories. And it brings it all back to like one photo of a moment in time can like bring back like a flood of that day almost. So those are the big things for me.
That's so true. Yeah. I just the other day, so my dad had found these photos of his dad, my grandpa, and his grandpa, my great grandpa, these hunting photos of like his brothers, and they all have these bucks. I've got this one of my great grandpa. It's really awesome. He's got this horse in like this single horse trailer, but then he's got this bull elk, like this 6-point bull elk, like strapped to the horse trailer,
so
coming
cool.
down like into the trunk of this vehicle. Awesome. And it's just this black and white photo, just super awesome. And you like appreciate, it's so cool to look back and see what your grandpa was doing, whatever it might be.
And it makes them so much more relatable. It
makes them so relatable.
Like when you just hear like their name or something, it's like, okay, cool. But seeing that you both love, like maybe have a shared passion or anything like that is really cool.
It's super cool. What type of, when you're out, like general question still, like when we're out capturing, what type of emotions, what type of scenes like naturally catch your eye that you want to capture?
Yeah, definitely the extreme. So like really, I mean, any emotion is really good to be able to capture. Expressions on people's faces is really powerful. One example that comes to mind is like your elk hunt this year. Yeah. I mean, amazing experience. You guys will have to watch the film that we're coming out with in a couple months. It'll be awesome. But, I mean, it's emotional when it happens because you put so much work in, and being able to capture that in photos and video, and not only of the successful part after, but all the lead up to that. There's so much lead up in capturing all those is a really big part of the story that I think a lot of people miss out on sometimes, especially people that are just taking photos on their phone. Like, I'm sure most of you have been on a hunt you might only have photos of after you killed something. But there's so many memories involved in leading up to that can be captured and then remembered through photos and video.
So what's the difference then from capturing just a photo to like telling a story through photos? Like, because I know a lot of people, and when we talk, in this episode that we're talking about capturing your adventures, it is like if you have a phone, most phones are pretty capable of taking some really good photos.
Capable.
And you have to have an eye for photography to tell the difference between whether that was a cell phone photo or whether it was like a high-end camera photo. Yeah. But there's a difference between just like quickly snapping a photo and doing it in a way that actually helps tell the story.
Right. Yeah. I think the big difference there is having a photo that elicits some kind of emotion from you or some kind of memory from you if you were there. So being able to find and give some relatability through the photo, because we're human beings, we all feel emotion. And so if I get a photo of you, like after you've been successful, you have this elk, maybe hugging your dad because your dad was there for the hunt. That's like a big moment. And being able to capture that's like a storytelling photo because there's a lot behind it. And and people can relate to that because, everybody has, maybe if they have some form of relationship like you do with your dad in their life that
they connect to it. Yeah. So what are some small details maybe that people overlook that can tell the best stories?
I think details are huge. Getting up close and personal to things like close-ups of the eyes is always a really cool thing, I think. The hands tell a lot of story. I have a picture of your dad's hands on Scott's elk hunt last year that I really like because, there's blood on them after we cut up the elk, and I think those minute details, especially with the hands, because it's work, and you can tell all the stories on people's hands. Like Father Wisdom has all kinds of stories from those hands that you can see in that. So details like that are really cool, and even on the elk itself, I think too. Like that elicits some emotion for sure. So,
like I know when growing up, we really only took photos at the end, like if we got something.
Yeah.
Like hunting wise, right? If we were out scouting, if we were out, like I'm not joking, we went on some epic adventures to where I was so scared.
Yeah.
Because of like there's this one time that we went to scout this area towards Colorado, and my dad had this old diesel Isuzu Trooper, and it was super awesome, but we took that thing places we shouldn't be able to go. And to get back to this one area, the road, which was kind of more like a four-wheeler trail, it went across this side hill, and the road wasn't cut into it. It was, you were very much like already leaning, right?
Yeah.
With the hill. And it was probably about 200 yards that you had to go on the side hill, and it was just that dirt, like that barren dirt. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, going in the night before, it was like midnight or so when we were going in, like it's leaning a lot, and I'm just like, I'm young, and so I'm like, I hope we don't tip.
Yeah.
But we went in, and we scouted and did the thing.
Right.
Well, coming out, a pretty gnarly storm was coming.
Oh shit.
And so my dad and his buddy were like, yeah, we should probably get out. But by the time we got back to that spot, it had been like downpouring. Yikes. To where like mud was like flowing down the hill, and we had to cross that.
Oh, so sketchy.
And I was just like in the back, curled up, just hoping that we don't end up in the river down below or roll, and we just like puttered across. And there were times where, you're sideways going.
Yep.
And when we got to pavement, I was just like, whoa.
That was scary.
0 photos from that trip though, right?
Yeah.
0, because it was just
Those are the
it was
best
just
times to
it was
take
just
photos,
a
by the
trip.
way, is when you're in extreme situations. They make for the coolest photos.
There's so many
Coolest
experiences.
and like most powerful too.
The people listening have had, that I have had, and I have zero photos of them. Like looking back on my outdoor experiences growing up as a youth and hunting, most the photos, not all of them, but most of the photos are we were successful on the hunt and we're taking a photo with the animal that we got as a group. That's most of the photos.
Yep.
But between that event and the start of it, so many incredible things happened, but there's like no story. It's just the end photo.
And those photos can be so powerful, the ones before success, because more people experience that than success.
Correct.
Like it is way more
that's a great
relatable.
point. Yeah.
The work and the grind of trying to be successful. And so when you have photos of that people can relate to, like eating breakfast like in the morning with your headlamps because you're getting up at 4 a.m. Like everyone that's hunted before can relate to that because everybody has been there.
Yes.
And so it makes for really powerful photos when you can give that relatability. Some of our best performing stuff on social media is when a bedroll is covered in snow.
Yeah.
Because most people that have been outside have experienced at some point in their life going through a sucky snowstorm, camping outside, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about ours is you're nice and toasty warm in your bedroll and it's great. And so people are like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because they know how much it can suck.
Yep.
And so I think, those are really powerful.
And how do you so for those listening, because I think the reason why we didn't when I was growing up was like we didn't have this.
Dude, yeah. Way
things
less
have changed,
access
right? Like to take photos then my dad would have had to bring a camera and he had cameras because he wanted to actually document a lot of his stuff, but everybody has a high quality.
You have zero excuse now.
Has a high quality camera now in their pocket.
Yep.
I think it's an afterthought for most people, and I think it takes some practice with how do you balance living in the moment.
Totally.
And capturing
you don't
want to
you don't want to be a screenager out there. You know? You don't want to be
getting out
you
there
don't want
to
to
get
be on
away
your phone
from
the
it.
whole time. But I think it's just a muscle like anything else. It's just practice of being able to notice the times when it's like, oh, this is like a really cool moment. I should get a photo of this. It doesn't have to be the best photo of all time, but getting a photo is way more powerful than having nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you're in a moment, like you're sitting curled up in the back of your dad's Isuzu Trooper,
scared. It's not even
take
funny.
one photo of that experience of like the headlights with the rain coming through or something, and that connects the memory in the future.
Yeah. Brings back more too. Like there's when I lived in Africa for 2 years, I took a lot of photos while I was there. Yeah. And I will completely, like, my memory has forgotten experiences, and I'll go through those photos and be like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'll remember names, like I'll remember smells, and like it's crazy the power of a photo. But in that experience, I was like, I'm probably never going to do this again in my life, so I want to capture as much of it as I can. So I did. I took photos at really random times that I'm so grateful for now, because I'm like, oh my gosh, driving through a township, that's crazy.
Exactly what it is for me. It's like, I mean, back to the visual journal I was kind of talking about. If I scroll through my Instagram or even my photo gallery on my phone, I can pull up a photo that I've taken like 5-6 years ago, and when I see the photo, it like brings back most, not everything, but most of what I experienced that day. I can remember who's in the photo, what their name is. It might have been a stranger I asked to take a photo of. I probably don't remember their name, but I do remember the experience of like asking them, hey, this scene is really cool, and I'm just here by myself. Would you mind being in a photo for me? Because it would make it look like awesome. Epic or something. I've had so many experiences like that, and then looking back at the photo brings it back to me. Yeah. So they really do have a really powerful way of bringing back memories.
Now, when you're out, you can use natural tools like the lighting to really amplify
Absolutely.
the story and the photo you're capturing. So when it comes to golden light, both in the morning, in the evening, versus harsh midday light, what are some suggestions you have for using that light in capturing the moment? Does that make sense? I don't know if that's a good question, but lighting is so important in photos. Lighting and textures, if it's like a close up, right, and stuff like that. How can you use those to like?
It is.
How
super
do you
important.
use them?
I think there's well, first of all, I have to say that there's moments in the middle of the day you can make a good photo in the middle of the day. It's not like lighting is preventing you from necessarily getting in, unless it's like really dark or something.
Yeah.
But there are ways to work around that. I think the golden hour light, it just looks really cool to us because it's a twice a day thing. It's not like all day. And because it's a little more rare, it's just like a sunset, like we don't see it all. If it lasted all day long, we wouldn't care. It's because it only happens once a day, and a good sunset only happens like once a week or whatever. And so it's like kind of a rare moment. And so I think the golden lighting can really accentuate the emotions involved in a photo and be like, wow, that's a beautiful moment. It just enhances the beauty, I think. So you can use that for sure to kind of level up the story and kind of the awe factor of a photo, I think. So even people that might not be connected to the memory or be there will be like, oh, that's really cool.
Right. Yeah. You like to backlight your subjects a lot, don't you?
A lot of the time, yeah, I do.
Is there a reason why?
I really like backlighting because...
Which means the light source is behind the subject you're taking a photo of?
Yeah, and I like to do that. I don't always do that. I shoot front lit sometimes too, but I like backlighting because it gives a little, like, this little light line around the edge of a person that kind of makes them pop a little bit more from the background. It's similar to the effect of like a silhouette.
Right.
Like,
okay.
if you have that light behind them is kind of breaking them out from the background a little bit. And it just makes the subject pop a little more, in my opinion. But you do lose some of that detail in the shadow of the subject. So try to balance it. You don't want to rely on any one thing too much. So there's lots of different things you can pull in to accentuate a photo and make it more powerful. Something else that I love to use in a lot of photos is framing or like foreground elements.
I love framing. Yeah, I'm a framing guy myself.
It gives a photo a lot of depth, and that depth makes it feel like we're there a lot more than just a flat photo.
Yep.
The flat photo, it literally just looks like you're looking at your phone. But if you have a foreground element in front or a frame, like you're shooting through a tree or
trucks. I like to use trucks, like whether it's a window frame or
so,
the bed,
and again, it makes it
bumper,
relatable,
tire.
and you feel like you're there because everybody's been in the passenger seat of a car looking out at a cool view out of the window.
Yeah.
And so being able to frame that with the window, you're like, oh yeah, that's really cool because I've experienced that before. So many different frames that you can use all the time.
Like start by just like actually capturing your adventures, but as you do it more and more, you'll start to pull in those elements, and your storytelling of those memories, those experiences will just amplify and improve.
And again, like even like a flat photo, like they called it earlier, that will still do the job for you. And for anybody that was there. Like you'll remember the memory, that's going to do the job. But all this extra stuff that we're talking about right now is how you tell the story a little bit better to people that aren't there. It makes them feel more like they were part of it when you can really pull in these other elements.
Like a future child or grandchild can go back and see that and be like, oh, like they get the feel of it. It's more rich. How do you balance? And maybe there is no balance. Maybe you don't look for it at all. But I think sometimes people don't take a photo, or they delete a photo because it wasn't perfect. They were like thinking of this and it just wasn't that. So they don't take the photo, or they delete it, like I say. But is it more rich if it's just more authentic and it doesn't have to be perfect? Like I have this thing in my mind, and this might be a really dumb example, but this guy was given a talk, and he gave an example of how sometimes in our culture and in our society we look for that perfectionism. Like we want everything to look really nice. And so he showed a photo that was taken of this cake that this lady made. And it was like awesome. The kitchen looked great and stuff. And then he showed a photo from the exact same scene, just further back, and there's flour on the table, and there's like dishes that aren't washed, and things are all over. But like in a way, the further back photo to me is kind of cooler because it's like here's this amazing cake that was created, but here's like all this stuff that happened for that.
There's so much power in both. There's a lot of like awe that you can bring in a photo that looks perfect,
pristine.
And then there's a lot of relatability that you can bring in a photo that's like not everything is perfect. There's like, somebody else is standing in the background, or like you left your coat on the side, or your backpack is in the photo when you're taking a photo of the elk that you just shot or whatever. And that stuff is relatable because, you likely have experienced something similar, whereas the perfect ones are not as relatable, but they can be really awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in that too. So
there's
cool elements to both. And yeah, I don't think like if you capture a photo and it's not necessarily perfect, I think there's still a lot of good. Like
I was out trying to snap some photos when I took Cutter swimming one day. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to get a cool photo of him shaking and like seeing the water droplets and him shaking. And I took it, and I think the shutter speed was too slow. And so it was kind of all blurred.
Yeah.
But that kind of ended up being
kind of cool.
I showed you, and you liked it. And then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
The way and I almost deleted it because I was like, oh, that's not what I was wanting. Sure. But it ended up being one of my favorite photos from that day.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. The difference, the balance between having a pristine, awesome photo and what it can produce, and having one that might not be so perfect that might actually be really powerful in and of itself.
And once you start taking photos more and you're capable of like changing up how a scene may look, I think there's a lot of power in variety. Being able to capture it in a lot of different ways is really cool when you're first starting out.
What are some practical tips that people can use to improve their photos, whether they're using a phone or whether they have a camera that they don't use a lot, but they're going to start using it?
Well, bring up framing and foreground elements again. I kind of already talked about that, but I just wanted to bring that up because that's a really powerful one and super easy to do.
Yeah.
Like you can go find some branches to put in the front, or I do that all the time. If you guys go look on our website at like some of our like lifestyle images, you'll see that I do that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because it gives it depth and it looks cool. Another thing, I mean, I'm going to throw out so many like photography vocab words, I guess here, but there's this rule called the rule of thirds. I hate the word rule in photography.
Yeah.
It's a suggestion, or it can help elevate a photo, but you don't have to use it. So in the rule of thirds, you'd break up a frame into like, so for example, if you're watching the YouTube video, I'm on the third of the frame on this camera right here. And that is really pleasing to our eye. Seth's on the third on that other camera. And then the one in the middle is we're both on
a third.
Not quite a third, but close to. And at the intersection of these, so there's two lines that go down, like are vertical, and then two lines that are horizontal that cut it into three parts vertically and horizontally. And on the intersection of those lines is a really great place to put a subject in a photo. So another thing that I do in a lot of my personal work, I don't do it as much for Canvas Cutter stuff all the time, but I love showing scale in photos.
Yeah.
So I think, especially for me, I've been a lot of really cool places with insane views that are just incredible. And it's like, dang, how do I show like how big this place feels?
Yeah.
And a really good way to do that is have a really small subject in it that is like, whoa. Because it gives you that sense of scale like I'm talking about, where if I have a subject like way out on a rock in the distance that's really small compared to like I have a photo of the Tetons that's on this. I have a guy standing on this rock in front. I'm way zoomed in, so the Grand looks massive behind him. And it really is like, whoa, that mountain is big.
Yeah.
Because the guy looks so tiny in front of it. And a really good way to do that with showing that scale, if you have a small subject in a photo, is number one, you can place them on the intersection of any of those thirds lines. That's a really good way to do it. Just in the center composition is always great, always a good go-to. That's just where you're putting your subject right dead middle. And then the other thing when you're trying to show scale, or even with any sort of subject, even if they're up close, is to have high contrast between them and whatever the background is behind them. So if I'm shooting a really tiny subject in a photo, to make them pop out of the photo, I want whatever is behind them to probably be like a solid color, or I want them backlit so they get that little bit of a halo around them. Or like, let's say, for example, I'm thinking of a photo I've taken in Glacier National Park where I have a subject, there's a really pretty blue lake in the background, and there's a little bit of sun touching on them, and I have them lined up in front of where that sun is touching behind them, so they like just pop out at you. And then it really shows the scale, and it's really recognizable. If you have them against something that's really broken up, it's going to work like camouflage does, where it's kind of hard to see them in the photo, and it won't pop out to you as much. So those are all things that you can think about. Leading lines are really great too. So I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this has seen a photo of like a really cool road that just like
goes and
it just pulls your eye like right into the scene. And leading lines don't have to be straight through the center. I mean, they can be anything. You can have like wispy clouds that lead to a mountain as your subject, or there's so many different elements that you can play with, and any combination of these can really make a powerful photo. Light beams can be leading lines, all kinds of things. So those are probably an overwhelming amount of tips.
Is there anything that you do different in bad weather? Anything that you
I take more photos.
A lot of people put their camera and phones away in bad weather.
Yes, but it really is the best time to take like awe-inspiring photos, because
is it the suck?
Number one, the suck is, I think, a relatable aspect that people are like, whoa, that looks kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that bad weather often is the only time you're going to get that exact look.
Right. Yeah.
And
how often does that
anytime you get a photo that people can't replicate, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Because they're like, whoa, that's crazy. That it looks
like you had to be there to get that.
Yes, exactly. So like, I mean, that's why lightning photos are so cool to look at. Nobody's ever going to get that exact same photo again, ever.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen that exact same way. So things like that, where you can capture something that it's a once in a lifetime.
How do you protect your gear? I mean, if you're using a phone, most phones now are pretty waterproof.
You really don't have to
throwing
worry about
it out
the phone.
in the rain, you're going to be fine. If you're shooting on a nicer camera, is there any concerns, or like what do you typically do to protect it?
If you have a mirrorless or DSLR camera, main thing to think about is protecting the hot shoe mount. You need to have that little insert in there. That's a very common way that those can get damaged. There's like a little plastic clip, at least on the Sonys. I assume Canon and all those have one too. And then you can always use like a plastic bag to cover it. I've used like a raincoat over my camera. I've like shot from inside of a car with my window rolled down a little bit to like peek out, so I'm protected from the elements. I've used umbrellas. I mean, you just use whatever's around you.
But don't put it away. That's the time to get it out.
Yeah,
really I agree.
Yeah, and it's gonna suck, but it'll make you look really cool in your photos and video. Everybody's gonna be like, "Dang, that's sweet."
What do you feel like are the biggest mistakes people make when photographing their adventures?
The biggest mistakes are, well, a big one, especially when it comes to like hunting, is not getting any of the before.
Yeah.
Like capturing the whole story is really important. That's actually something that, like, I've been doing this forever. I'm still learning so many things, especially when it comes to video. But that's something I've really learned about video in the last like year, since we've been trying to really be consistent on YouTube and put out our cutter vlog all the time, is telling the whole story, capturing everything. You want to shoot everything.
Yeah, it's
because
crazy.
People want to feel like they're there. And when you just and Seth actually called me out for this, and it was a really good thing because I didn't realize it. But a lot of my work in the past has been short form content that is like, it's like highlight reel.
Yeah.
It's like, which is cool on Instagram and shorts and all that. It's really cool to look at, but it's not good at telling the whole story. And when you're shooting YouTube videos, specifically longer form content, you want to be involved in the whole story. You want to feel like you're there. That's why people love Outdoor Boys.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're there with him.
Yeah, you're cooking.
He brings you along for everything.
It's
and you
quiet.
And you don't like hop from one scene to like something completely different. It's like you're carried with him along the way. And so I've been trying to put that into practice in more of our videos and be able to show like how we got from one place to another and show that transitioning. Gus, that's a powerful tool.
Gus from Lonesome Dove said, "I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it." And that's kind of how I literally say that to myself when we're out, because there's times where I don't want to hit record. Yeah. Like I don't want to be filmed. Like I just want to like not be doing that.
Totally.
But there's moments where if you're not recording or you're not snapping photos, that you will miss.
You will miss it.
Had you captured it, it would add so much to the story.
Yes.
Because maybe that was the moment where somebody said something that now becomes the inside joke for the rest of the trip.
Totally.
And to have the audience, or to have those to be involved in that and to know what they're talking about.
You're part of the inside joke now because you got it on camera.
It's super awesome. Yep. And I think you can do that with photography. Like snap way more photos than you think you should.
Yeah.
Because again,
especially at the beginning, because then it's like building a muscle. You get in practice where, more so with photography, about like, you just start to recognize the moments the moments that you need to get.
Moment. Yeah.
With video, it's something that you should just be recording as much as you can, really, because I mean, there are moments that you can capture on video, but like when things happen unexpectedly,
you can always get rid of what you don't need. But if you didn't get it, you can't put it in.
Yep.
So I think that is a big one. How do you know that moment? How do you know, like, ooh?
For me, it's kind of hard to say how I like got to this point because it's been a while. But I think for me, it's things that I'm like, it literally is just me being like, that's really cool. I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
And I want to show it all my friends that. And there's a lot, especially now, like I do this professionally. So there's some times where for me, it's like I see potential for something like that, and then I set it up to make a cool photo. Yeah. I more so now make cool photos than I try to capture a lot of candid stuff too, especially when it involves like natural moments on hunts and things. Almost all of that is candid. I mean, Seth can tell you, I almost rarely ask people to do something for a photo.
Yeah, it surprises me when you do.
I just capture what's happening candidly. But for like really cool, like lifestyle photos or
landscape photos where you're showing the magnitude.
Stuff like the scale stuff that I do, I'll see somewhere that would be a great place to have a subject. Oftentimes it's on top of a rock. Or it's up against like a background that I know they would stand out against. I mean, I mentioned this when I was talking about scale, but having a background that has a spot that just the subject would really pop out of. I've just learned to recognize those things, and I'd be like, that would look really cool, and it would show how big this place is.
Yeah.
Again, just practice.
What do you do to capture the more natural, like in the moment because if people know you're taking a photo, like I feel like our crew is just so used to cameras around that we just are us.
Yep.
But anytime someone new comes with us, them off camera is way better than them on camera.
Totally.
They're themselves, just themselves. They're more funny. They're just them, right? They see a camera and they know that it's being recorded, and they freeze up, and they're less funny. And so what suggestions do you have for people out there? They're going on, a family trip. They're going to go on a fun little adventure in the woods or a hunt or whatever. How do you capture those natural moments without getting that
first thing I would say number one, to do that with photos is a lot easier than to do it with video, because video you gotta have the camera up, and it's
it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious. Like I was just thinking about how you see like celebrities are a good example of this. They're just so used to they can tell when someone's like slyly recording them. Yeah. Because it's obvious at a certain point. And so video, it's much harder to do. Like quickly snapping a photo is pretty easy. But the biggest tip I would give is distance. Like people are going to notice a lot less if you're far away.
True.
Your phone, very capable of zooming in.
Yeah.
Especially now. If you have a somewhat modern phone, it probably has a pretty good zoom on it. So recording things from a distance is really good. You do have to sacrifice audio a little bit in that case. So if you're trying to capture a conversation or something, that becomes a little more difficult. But capturing candid moments it's really good to have a zoom in play for that.
You don't get it with the phone at all. It's always quiet. But when you're using a nicer camera with a shutter to go silent mode, I noticed that made a huge difference.
If you have a mirrorless, turn on silent mode, to get some candid stuff.
And what I would do, I know this sounds silly, but people really do not act themselves if they know you're taking a photo or if they know you're filming. So I would legitimately look at photos through the viewfinder and check them, so that when I wanted to get a photo of a natural moment and I bring my camera up, they don't hear the
also not bringing up your camera to your eye does a lot of good too. If you use the viewfinder
and just keep it low,
it's less obvious. Another thing I would say is something that I do a lot, which I actually got a great picture of Seth doing this. I mean, it was obvious that I was doing it because I was walking right in front of you. But I shoot with my camera without looking. That is a practice skill.
He's so good at it.
You got to try it a lot. But I'm just really I guess aware of
where it's pointed.
What it would be looking at. And so I shoot a lot while I'm not looking. Not a lot, but I do it occasionally. And it's never like I've got my horizon perfectly flat or anything. But again, going back to it's better that I have it, and then maybe I can crop it after to look right, or even if it's off angle. It could be cool.
It's super candid though.
And I would rather have it
moment.
and not need it than
awesome.
Need it and not have it. So
What's one thing that you wish people understood more about outdoor photography? Is there anything that you wish people understood more?
I wish I guess more people understood the power. I mean, we've been talking about it the whole time, and this is kind of what this is about. But the power of photos and video is it's a huge deal. A lot of Canvas Cutter's current success has come because we put an emphasis on photos and videos.
Yep, absolutely.
That's how people relate to you.
Yep.
Especially in today's day and age when everything is on the internet. Being good at photo and video is a very powerful tool.
Yes. What's
so if you well, sorry to cut you off,
but you're good.
If you have a business, understand how powerful that is. if you want your business to be successful, it is a major tool that can be in your arsenal.
Yeah, one of the most important tips I can give anybody starting a business.
He says this all the time. I know exactly what he's going to say.
Content is king, and marketing is a beast, and you have to feed it.
Yeah.
And the amount that it eats is far more than I think most people realize.
Then what's the other thing that you say about having the best product in the world?
I say this one more than the last one, but you really can have the best product in the world. Like, it can be amazing, and if people don't know it exists, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
Nothing.
It does nothing. It sits there. You have the best
People
invention,
have to
you
know
have the
about it.
best product in the world, and it just sits there because people don't know about it. And one way people learn is through the content
Through
you
visuals.
capture, through
Yep.
visuals. Absolutely. Cutter, dude, I know you want to go. Okay, just chill. Can you chill for a second? How has photography changed the way you experience the outdoors? And like, do you find yourself noticing things now after years of taking photos in the outdoors that maybe when you were younger you didn't notice or appreciate or pick up on?
Yeah. There was a trend on social media a while ago of like in the, Instagram cinematographer space that I'm heavily is on my feed all the time.
Yeah.
But it was just people would like do this in video caption, and it's like said the art of noticing, and that really is what it is. When you use a camera as much as someone like me, you just start to notice like the little details that tell a story. It really has changed the way I view like all of my outdoor experiences, and it's made me like pay attention a lot closer to all the little things that are going on, and it's made me value the rare moments a lot more. Because I'm so focused on capturing that and sharing it that it's a heavy priority for me to notice those things when they happen. And so when I'm outside, I'm locked into things. And paying attention. Seth will be the first one to tell you this, but one of my secret superpowers, not so secret, is I can sleep like crazy.
It is insane.
But when I'm on hunts, like on Seth's hunt this year, I like could not nap because I was like, I was just on edge about paying attention and getting everything. And then the other thing I'd say is it's made me pay attention to like, dude, I check my weather app like every single day.
Yeah.
For like cloud potential and for like potentials of good sunsets. I'm almost always in tune with what time the sunset is at. I could usually tell you within 5 minutes, like any given day of the year. If you ask me I don't even have to look. I can usually tell you just because I check that stuff so often. So yeah, I think it's just made me, there's just little things that I focus on because of photos and video.
So a lot of good tips listen to this again if you need to, but I think mainly like start taking more photos.
Yeah.
Like, capture your adventure.
That's the biggest tip of all.
Biggest tip of all
is repetition is the mother of learning.
Yes.
You just got to do it a lot. And the more you do it, the better you'll get.
And once you start doing it and just capturing your adventures, the other skills kind of will naturally come. They'll fill in, like framing and using lighting differently. And
if you're really like wanting to build this as a skill, go focus on one of those aspects.
Yeah.
Like for a whole like hunt. Try to frame everything. Yeah. And then once you get like a good hang of that, then focus on something else.
And to be clear too, I probably should have said this at the very beginning, but we're not encouraging you to go out and do this so that you can have a YouTube channel or so that you can have a big Instagram following. We're suggesting you do this because you are outside with family and friends doing awesome, fun, cool things in cool places. You have amazing experiences. Yeah. What a shame it is that the majority of us only have a memory of that.
Yeah.
We have nothing to look back on and, like nothing. Yeah. And that's a shame. Like if you're out there and you're having these amazing experiences, like capture it. And it's so easy now too, with your phone in your pocket. It's got a really capable camera and video camera to snap the photos of those moments, and they're just getting better and better. Like, you can even, if you really want to, you can have that picture have a nice fake bokeh behind it, but it looks nice. And again, unless you've taken a lot of photos and can see the difference, 99% of people are going to see that photo and not recognize that was digitally created.
Sure.
But like, you have that memory, and so
and for people listening that you don't want to go out and take photos, that's fine. You don't have to listen to us. We're just, if there's somebody listening that's like, man, I wish I would take more photos. Take this as your sign to go do it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's all we're saying. We're not saying that everybody has to do this.
I don't remember anybody regretting that they took a bunch of photos on a trip.
Yeah.
It's like, dang it, I shouldn't have taken any photos on that trip we went
on. Don't be
on.
glued to your phone, but take a couple pictures every now and then.
Yeah, you won't regret it. But I hope that's helpful for anybody who's watching or listening, and now you can have something to look back on with your memories. But any final words, T?
No final words. I think I've said my piece.
Good. Well, folks, until next time, thank you as always for listening. If you are liking the Cuttercast, you're enjoying what we're putting out, we appreciate it if you would like, share, comment. Always, if you're listening to this, please give us a review, preferably 5 stars if that helps. But it does a lot for us, and we appreciate it. But until next time, folks,
keep on keeping on.